remember the day that I brought him home, I was feeding him and all of a sudden he started to have a seizure. And it was a very subtle seizure. It wasn't like the really aggressive kind that you think of. I remember sitting on the couch talking to my husband, just crying, thinking, I don't think he's going to make it. I don't think he's going to be alive when I wake up tomorrow morning. I was just so heartbroken. They saw him fall out of the tree and they went over to check on him. And fortunately, they knew a rehabber. When we got him, he had a really bad head injury and was having seizures. He had this big swollen bump on the back of his head. It was the size of his head, really. We don't know if the blindness caused the fall, and maybe that's why his mother didn't come to get him, because she already knew he wasn't viable for life in the wild, or he may not have even had his eyes open when he fell. My mom chose the name Clark Kent because she said if he survives, he's Superman. It just was a very weighty feeling and situation. The first weekend I had him, he was very dehydrated and we were having to feed him every 2 hours. I actually took him to church with me that morning. When they saw him a week later and he was moving around and actually like interacting a little bit, and they were just in awe that he had survived. He is quite the little fighter. My mom definitely picked a good name. When we were trying to wean him, bowls weren't working. Whatever was in that bowl would just go everywhere. The only thing we could figure out to do was to put just a little water in the bathtub and pop him in there. And it wasn't long before he figured out how to drink. He has the cutest little purr when he lets us know that he's finished. His independence is night and day. Because of his neurological deficit, he's very happy to just run in circles in the living room. And if he bumps into something, he just kind of stops a second and he just keeps going. I worried at one point that PK was going to have this very dark, sad, lonely little life as a blind raccoon. It's not the case at all. I'm in awe of it every single day that he's still with us. It's just amazing how strong he is and how, I mean, he really did fight. He fought to stay here. Anytime I think back to where he was and remember that night that I was sitting on the couch crying to my husband, thinking he wasn't going to make it. Here we are, 5 months later, and he certainly is Superman.
Si amas a los animales, suscríbete.